disrespect you respectfully. Humbly, nah, respectfully.
Bars, boy.
Golly.
My man out here. Bars,
my man out here on his Clark Kent right now, yo.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what Jay say back in the day. You know what I'm saying? You know, got the guy stepped into the booth, loosened up the tie,
Right.
opened up the door. Superman's alive, something like that, right?
Hey, y'all niggas starting already, yo.
You know, gotta break out bar after bar. Speaking of which, have y'all heard the new the little Jay-Z verse? That the internet going kind of bonkers out there.
Yeah. The internet's going crazy right now over that verse, yo.
That the internet going ape shit right now. What's going on, man? He only 50 years old, still rapping. Like, what's going on?
Yo, he really is he 50? He's 50 now?
He's 50 plus, bro.
You said what now?
He's like 50 plus.
He's 50 plus.
Yeah, yo.
That's kind of crazy.
That is crazy, yo. Whoever would have thought?
He's to me, he is extending the art form from just a youth thing to like how like the Beatles can still tour and sell out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Rolling Stones gonna sell out.
That's true. Hey man, it is, but he's still in his 50s, and he's still very relevant in this rap game, and that's a credit to a lot of different things, but it's still kind of dope, and I appreciate that shit. Now as far as Rose on that track, I mean, I feel like it was typical Rose, you know, but I wasn't really, you know, and that ain't no shade because everybody, if you know me well, you know I'm a big Rose fan. But I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's okay.
You saying it was mid?
It was, yeah. It was kind of mid. It was kind of mid. But I'm not dissing because it was cool. It was cool for the song. You know what I mean? But you got Wayne and Jigga on your joint. We talking like the legends. We talking about Jordan and LeBron. You know what I mean? You gotta get up there. You gotta have some quotables out here. I think my man getting too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? He's too comfortable. He over here worried about Bartlett pear trees and horseshoes for his horses and shit. Like when you get that rich, yo, you get that rich when your main concern is the shoes that your horses wear. That's a different level, you know what I mean?
Like we can't even relate to that no more. You out of here.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get some more J's, man. I'm still trying to get some Jordans and shit. You over here. A matter of fact, I gotta take my dogs to the vet. Because one of my dogs actually tore an ACL, not like an MCL. Like I gotta get surgery on my dog.
Really?
Yeah, she tore an MCL in her knee, and she can't run like she wants to, and it's $1,200. It's a $1,200 surgery I gotta get on my dog.
Dang.
Not a human. No, my dog.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
Are they?
Right now, I had the do-rag tied extra tight when I walked into. Just want to let y'all know. You know what I mean? Man, I'm trying to get back. I said, you know what, yo? I'm in my 40s now. You know what I mean? Because I've been trying to get like crispy wings my whole life, right? Like I see dudes with the 360s, and I'll immediately hate.
I had to.
You know what I mean?
Back in the day.
Like those. You remember Darren Williams used to play for the Utah Jazz, yo? And then he came to Brooklyn. You remember him, light skinned cat? Remember him? Yo, I hated that nigga for everything. You understand? He had the crispiest waves. Okay, and I was like, man, what can I do to get waves like that? Yo, I even contemplated putting S curl tester.
Yo, you just gotta keep brushing, yo. Brush.
Hold on. Yeah, Marvin, let's not breeze past that. Say that again. What you say again? Yeah.
I said I even contemplated putting S curl texturizer in my shit one time. Okay,
Why?
because my younger brother, my younger brother, for those who know James, you know who James is, Tommy. He
Right.
used to put S curl texturizer.
He definitely did. I wasn't
Chicago,
around for that. I wasn't around for that, but I heard about it.
Kid. Yeah, he had the S curl with hella parts and designs inside of his head. Now keep in mind this is the early 2000s, so this was actually socially acceptable at the time. Okay, so for y'all out there that want to judge my brother, don't.
Excuse me, say what? You said
what?
You said it was what? Take it.
My bad.
You said it was socially huh?
It was socially acceptable at that time, sir. Yeah.
The S curl?
S curl texturizer. You know how many brothers was walking around here, brown skinned brothers walking around here looking like Rick Fox? Okay? All right. I don't even like your face. I don't like what you're doing.
Okay. Gary, listen, man.
Both of you are giving
listen, man. Listen. All right. Well, so this is the thing, Marvin. So look, Gary is technically I'm not even being respectfully. Gary is technically from Prince George's County. I don't know what was going on over there at the time. All right.
Literally just said that. I spent 5 years of my life in Prince George's County. I've always been there.
But before you came to collect, you spent your most formative years in PG. So maybe at the time, well, no. Actually, I mean, between that and Jersey.
My most formative years were Columbia, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what I'm saying is, at the time when James was the S curling it up, you had just arrived to Columbia. So I'm just saying that it's a possibility that maybe PG that was normal out there.
No, I won't say that. What I would say is that he came from the Midwest. He's from Chicago.
Okay. It's normal in the Midwest, right? You got to say that. You got to make that clear because it was not normal out here. That was not.
No, he caught hella bars. There's no question he caught hella bars from mainly from me.
Okay.
But that's just
I'm about
me.
to say.
You know what I mean?
Because I
could have been clearly hating. I could have been hating at the time. I didn't know that I was defending the honor of Maryland. I didn't know that. I just knew he came out here.
Yeah.
The S-curl texturizer. You know what I mean? He had the Rick Fox shot, like, Shamar Moore, hair, the high top fade.
Yeah, he definitely.
He had that go. He had that
He
going
definitely
on.
had that. He definitely had that.
With the parts though, like his shit, he had the parts though. That's where he lost me though. It was the parts.
Was it? Hold on. So you telling me it was like the MC Hammer, too legit to quit with the S curl and the parts on the.
Yo, marked up like the subways in Brooklyn. You hear me? Like the shit looked crazy. Like shit looked like mad graffiti on the side of his head.
That's crazy. But I mean, but back, you know what? Back then, you saw MC Hammer doing it. I mean, nobody was really doing it in our area.
What year was little brother doing that? He said that thousands.
Not 2000s. I lied. I was alive. I was in 9th grade in '96, so he came out here in '96. So it was the mid '90s. You know what I mean?
Mid '90s. So, yeah. Okay. Let's be clear.
Biggie, DMX and Jay-Z time. I don't know, yo.
If you look at early Jay-Z, Hawaiian Sophie thing, you
the high top.
Hey yo, Marvin trying to look out for you. He said, I don't know, yo. He said, instead of him saying, nigga, hell no, he was like, I don't know, yo.
I'm saying, man, like, yo, I can only speak to what I've seen around, bro. And I mean, it ain't like I ain't
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
But
yeah, my brother's going to see this. He is going to fucking die. He's going to die.
I wish you had a pick, yo. That would be legendary.
Oh my god! I don't
like the
even
pick.
have
Yo, was it like Jamie? Hold on, let me show you the old pick of Jamie Foxx with the.
No, I got something worse.
Give me something. Yo.
Oh,
not the shag though, not the Jamie with the shag.
Okay,
yo.
all right. So it's no shag. It was just okay.
No shag, yo.
I bet. I bet.
Yo,
it was a
I
fade.
bet.
He had a fade.
Okay.
Yo,
okay.
he tried to play Jay.
yo,
because when I think S curl, that's what I think. I've never seen it any other way.
So the reason why I'm not judging is because I got something worse.
He just looked like he had a genuine head of hair, like the head of baby hairs. He had a whole head of baby hairs. Okay, all right, bet. All right, bet. Okay.
Yo, that's hilarious. Yes, he had a whole head of baby hairs.
Yo,
okay.
Yo, my mother put an S curl on my head, but my hair was already good. So my hair was already like.
Why she do that, yo?
So
it was worse than the S curl because my shit was the Pat Riley.
Oh no, you had the slick back.
Slick back.
You was a pimp named Slick Back though.
Yo, he was looking like. Hold on, I'm gonna show you exactly what Marvin was looking like, yo.
Oh, with my shit just slick back.
Yo, my man said he had the Pat Riley.
I had Pat Riley, yo.
I'm gonna show you exactly.
I didn't told nobody that. This is the first time telling somebody that.
Yo,
this was Marvin.
Sharing that information.
Yo, why did she apologize? Did she apologize?
She apologized.
Please tell me Mom Dukes apologized. Okay.
She did not.
Oh, she had, yo.
It's twice.
She had, you said she did it twice?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yo,
she had you looking like this? She had you looking like this, yo?
Oh.
That was you, yo?
That's how I look, yo.
Dang.
That was you? Hey, man.
Damn, shorty.
Hey,
hold on. And then when it dried up, it looked like that.
Yeah.
Yo, word the mother on that show, yo. That show was really
Show was amazing.
Show was really good. And Adrian Brody was the perfect casting for Pat Riley, too. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, he was. He was. And the thing is about that show, man, like they really did a good job of a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we never would have known about. Like Pat Riley being like kind of like I'm trying to, use the right word, but they pretty much treated him like he was like a little peon.
Yeah, they really treated him like shit.
Yeah, because we always know Pat Riley to be like
the man,
that guy,
right?
He's that dude, and to see him occupy that little, get out of here, give me some coffee, shut the hell up, nobody wants you here anyway. That type of thing, to see him like occupy that space for so long, it's like, damn, you can really level up from anywhere, bro.
You see right now, right? Because he, you know what I'm saying? Like he had to go through something. Like, okay, well, I'm
right.
Pull up.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah, he's like a no nonsense. Don't nobody fuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fire, man. I tell you.
But yeah, that show was good, man. And then showing like the little beefs that Magic had with Julius Erving.
Yeah. It was a slight little beef. It was a competitive thing. It was a competitive beef.
But you see how Magic was the guy who he was like the real happy black that all the white people like.
Mm-hmm.
And Julius Erving, even though he had a white wife, he was like the serious black guy.
Oh, you talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
I mean Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Kareem was that serious black guy who was into, like
if that's
Islam.
If that's not an oxymoron, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
That shit's kind of. I mean,
but you know what? That happens a lot, yo.
Yeah.
But usually it's not a white chick. Usually it's an Asian chick that they marry. the conscious black dudes. It's usually an Asian joint.
True story.
But yeah, but just that contrast between Magic and Kareem and how they bumped heads because of that. And they actually talked about it in the show when he went and visited Magic's hometown and saw his father and all that stuff. And him and his pops chopped it up. And his pops was just like, yeah, man, my son's always been that way, man. Like he's always real happy. Them people, they love him for that. And you see how that evolved into Magic being super successful in the business world.
Yeah,
he's getting deals that, and now I won't take anything away from him. He was always very business savvy. Like Magic, I saw a story one time where he was trying to get his teammates to pool their money together and start a radio station so that they can own some media. And everybody was like, hey, yes, I'm not trying to do that. So he's always been business savvy and just interested in business. But to see how he gets the deals that he gets and he's able to retain so much ownership, so like, yeah, man, it was just a good show all the way around. But
yeah, I like that show a lot.
Yeah, I wish we had talked about it when I was watching it, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about on the pod, but I some of it I forgot now. But anyway.
Yeah, man. But since we on the subject of basketball, we did talk, I did get a chance to watch that And1 special too on Untold.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah, I checked it out, bro. You ain't watch it?
I started, but then I got mad because I'm like, really? Bullshit ass. Yeah. I hate telling you.
Marvin was like, man, this some bullshit.
It's like it's almost like they went from let's idea to like NBA sponsorship. I'm like, God damn.
I mean, it kind of happened. It kind of happened like overnight, though. Like,
yeah, but go ahead.
Like once that tape took off, because I remember that shit vividly. Because I remember that you had to buy like either a pair of shoes or you had to buy like a pair of shorts. Because I bought some shorts, and that's how I got the tape. I went to Foot Locker or something like that, or Foot Action, one of the two, and they gave me the tape, and I didn't know nothing about it. Like I didn't even know what this tape had. I didn't know whatever. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as you put that Sum Gun in there, right? As soon as you did, and then you get to see Skip, and then you hear the music. You hear like Black Star. They had songs from Black Star on there. They had songs from like so many fire people on there. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
the Lock is all over that. You know what I mean? And you get the music, and you get like the essence, like, cause they had the Rucker. They all in these crazy dope gyms and shit. And it was just amazing, and then it just took over, so that everybody wanted to buy shit just to be a part of that movement. You know what I'm saying?
See, I was looking at it from they was pressing up T-shirts in their trunk with like slogans on. So I'm like, how many other people do the same thing, but it don't get to that level where it's like, yo, I've been doing T-shirts for the last 10 years.
Right. But you know what? You make a good point, because one, and me and Gary talked about this after I saw it. One, I didn't know that the clothing line, I didn't know the brand came first, and then the And1 mixtapes came next. And then it blew up. I thought it was a grassroots thing of, it's these guys that are hooping in New York. They getting busy, and it's like we don't get to see this in the league, and then they parlayed it into a brand once they found out it was catching on. That's what I thought happened. And Gary was like, nah. You know what I mean? So I didn't even know that. The second point is what Marvin said. I didn't realize until you just said it just now, Marvin. In the doc, they really did just breeze through how did you go from making T-shirts to blowing the hell up, and now you got league deals, right? No, they didn't talk about that.
They kind of did. Like,
okay,
once that tape took off, right, and then they decided to.
No, it was just wild to me how they went from an idea at a pizza shop or whatever to make a t-shirt. Mm-hmm. Like the next second, oh, we got to deal with stuff on Marlboro. I'm like, whoa, it's a lot.
Nah, it was so much that happened in between that though. It was so much. Like once they pressed up the actual, because once they figured out it was a good idea to go to these parks, and they got together with somebody that introduced them to the guys at the Rucker. Once they figured out what happened at the Rucker and they started recording, and they said, hey, like, we're going to do this. And they got with a DJ that said, yo, we got all this footage. We need to make a mixtape out of that. You know what I'm saying? Once they made that mixtape, and it kind of, like, let's be realistic here. I think all of us have seen that mixtape at least 100 times by now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That mixtape is still flowing on internet right now to this day.
Yo, that mixtape used to get me so charged up. Forget about it. Supercharged. Hey,
we're not going to talk about that. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that one-on-one when you actually pull one of the And1 moves on me. We've never played one-on-one ever again since then.
Yo, Gary.
I will never forget that move, y'all.
Gary was so fed up with me when we didn't even get into it. Like he literally stopped the game because I turned him all the way around. It was one of the situations where I turned him around. And then he was waiting for the ball. He was waiting for the ball.
Really gotta get into the details.
All right, never mind. Forget about it.
You're so disrespectful.
Listen, just to be clear, like I'm not saying I'm the nicest nigga for real, but I got a little bit of hands, and I got my hands back now. So I've done something similar to a couple of these young boys out here, like currently. So just be clear. You know, look. It happens.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. I am proud of you, sir. I am proud of you. Okay? All right?
I am proud of you for being washed up and still popping shit.
But yeah, so with that being said though, like you stupid as shit. But
yeah, because you were talking about
once that tape blew up, right? Once that it put so many eyes on the actual company within itself.
Right.
And then they said, like, we just can't be making shirts. You know what I mean? And that one guy he was talking about, he's like, yo, I've always wanted to make shoes and I wanted to design, and the stuff that they came up with before was kind of trash. And he was all like, nah, I got ideas. Like, I really believe that I got, these ideas with them. And then they, once they pressed up the ideas and they started making the shoes, and they came up with a decent shoe. They came up with a real decent shoe. Because really what brought, got the attention of Stephon Marbury was that tape. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew about that. Got you. What really blew them up was Vince Carter wearing them shoes in the 2001.
I saw that part. Okay, got you.
That was the most insane shit in the world.
But even then, go ahead, Mo.
What I'm saying, in the beginning of the doc, Stephon Marbury twisted his ankle in a pair of those.
Yeah, that happens, man.
But no. But look, remember in the doc, the agent, they were actually there at the stadium, at the arena. The agent walked past them, and he said he looked at us with like eyes like a dagger was in his eyes, because he was like, yo, if it wasn't for your shoes, my player wouldn't be injured right now, right? So how the hell did they get to the point where, one, Stephon Marbury is rocking their shoes, two, they're actually in the arena to know. Go ahead.
Court side seats.
Right. So I'm like, at that point, they were already, you know what I mean? Like, it reminds me of like, all right, this is a tangent, but it reminds me of like one time, how we used to be big common sense fans, right?
Yes, we were.
Like one day it would all make sense, and then like What If a Chocolate hit, and it was like this is like the one. One of my homeboys told me one time. Matter of fact, it was Chinadu, Patrick. I mean, it was Chinadu, Marvin. Chinadu was like, he was like, yo, Common has been a millionaire for a long time now. Common been a millionaire since after One Day It All Makes Sense, and especially once like What If a Chocolate hit. So him being this conscious rapper, and you thinking, oh, he's finally getting on when he gets with Kanye, he's been rich. So that's what I'm saying. Like with these And1 guys, it's like people didn't necessarily know about him, but how are these NBA players rocking their shoes and they're not even on yet? So that's what me and Marvin are saying. It's like, what was that trend? You know, and that tends to happen with non-niggas, non-black people. They'd be like, yeah, we just had this small mom and pop, and then next thing you know, we're in every Whole Foods across the country. You know, it's just blessings. You know, we had faith.
We got it from the mud. We got it from the mud.
We had the faith, and you know, we just stuck to it, and we had that. You know, we were industrious. Yeah, it's just like, all right, man, come on, man. Look, give up the game. You know, stop.
You feel me? That shit is fucking bonkers, bro.
Yeah, but anyway, but I do want to get into. Because the doc basically what it was, and this is the And1 Mixtape. I don't know if we properly introduced it, but And1 Mixtape doc. What was the name of it? The Rise and Fall.
The Rise and Fall of And1 is Untold. It's a series that
right. Okay, so the doc starts out. I was not aware of this. I don't know if y'all were aware of this. That And1 was founded and owned by 3 white dudes. Weren't they from like the Midwest or something like that?
Yeah, that threw me, dog.
Like middle of nowhere type place.
Yeah, that threw me.
Something, right?
Say it again.
One that was going to Wharton.
Right, and one of them was going to Wharton Business School.
Mm-hmm.
And what were the other 2 guys? I think they all used to hoop together.
They all went to the same school, and one of them used to play ball.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
One of them played ball, but he wasn't nice. He wasn't nice. He was just a regular dude.
Yeah. So I was not aware that And1 was started by these guys. And then just to see the whole transition from them starting this clothing brand to it becoming something where these goofy shoes actually get worn by NBA players, right? And then it transitions from that into you got the whole And1 Mixtape thing. And then it goes into like the kind of like the thesis of the story where they got all of this black talent from around the way in New York, and then those guys in New York went around and toured to grab other guys from other places to get the talent. And then the another layer of the story is once they get the professor, right? Mm-hmm. He ends up being the flagship player. Why? Because he's the one white kid out the group, and he's more marketable. He's getting more airtime in the media, and they didn't actually specifically
that season. I remember that season. I remember watching shit. I remember that, and he was the best player of the guys that were bringing on. He was.
In that season,
without a question. There was two other guys.
Was Hot Sauce still in there? Was Hot Sauce and Stick My Lou still in there?
The biggest. He was a superstar at the time. The nigga was walking around talking. He had 2 houses.
You talking about the professor?
Like, I'm talking about Hot Sauce.
Oh right, yeah, right.
Yeah. So I remember that season very well. They had him. They had Professor. They had this dude named Spider, and they had this dude named Helicopter. Those are the 3 finals, right?
Okay.
The Professor won, but they still kept those other 2 dudes on the tour. They ended up bringing them on anyway. But Professor was the one that like actually won. He won it all. But he won it all because let's be realistic. I'm gonna be realistic here. He earned his spot, bro. Like,
I'm not saying.
I'm not going on there to check him out and see what the type of moves he was putting together and all that crazy shit. Like, I respect that shit. Like, I totally respect.
Yeah. So, and I don't want to get it twisted. Look, we all fans of the Professor. Man, I love it. I follow him right now. So I'm not saying that he didn't earn his spot. He definitely earned his spot. But what I'm saying, it's just like anything else in society where like everybody can earn their spot.
One thing too, he was the first one that they got on the tour too. So he was there the longest. He was there.
He was the first. Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Right. Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is he earned the spot, but let's be clear, when they got a white boy that was nice, had hands, and was just as good as everybody else, you're always going to give him more airtime. He's going to have more mass appeal. You know what I mean? So, and it's not even phony. What'd you say?
It's not phony. It's not common, I guess. He's a little white boy from Oregon, you know.
Right. So, and you gotta understand, these are three white guys who founded a company where the vast majority of their, and they said it in the doc, vast majority of their fan base was urban. It was the urban black crowd, right? So how do you scale that and build some mass appeal?
That's true.
Though. So once you get that unicorn, which is the professor, the rest is history. So I'm not saying that he didn't deserve the airtime. I'm not saying that he didn't deserve all the stuff but what I'm saying is strategically from a business standpoint, it was a no-brainer. And then you got people like Hot Sauce, Skip to My Lou, who they're popular among us, right? But they're not really getting the same amount of airtime. They're just not.
I don't know. Hot Sauce was in a movie, cuz he was in a movie called Crossover. We're starring Anthony Mackie. It's called Crossover, starring Anthony Mackie, bro. Hot Sauce was in a movie, bro.
For real?
Real talk. He was in a movie, Slim. A whole movie. And he really had lines. He was in the whole joint. He was the main antagonist of the movie, bro. Anthony Mackie was the protagonist of the movie. We're talking about the new Captain America. He was in a movie with the new Captain America.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying about And1, they really did kind of get it out the mud. When they first started in 1993. They were selling shirts that were like little regular ass trash tub. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then they were literally selling out the back, like out the trunk of the car on some masterpiece shit, bro. You know what I mean? They all were graduate students at Pittsburgh. So they were in Pittsburgh and they were just pushing these joints out the back of their car. You know what I mean? Because they didn't like what they were doing. Like they were all trying to do like certain levels of like in the STEM industry. You know, they was trying to build like, technical type shit. And they just wasn't feeling it.
Right. And that's when the guy was like, that's when I went to. Yeah. But the one guy said that he went to Wharton and then he went to he got a finance job or internship or something like that in finance.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There was a finance and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, they were finance. That's what it was.
Right.
It was like a finance thing, and they was not fucking with it. And they was just like, yo, I want to do something. I want to really make real money doing shit that I love to do. You know?
Right.
One dude, he was really in love with basketball. The one guy, he really enjoyed basketball too. So they went to that realm. You know, one dude, he was actually playing street ball. And they would say certain things, like, you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. Now,
okay, but how did they transition from that to now the NBA?
I think it was the blow up of that mixtape, and then they.
Oh, so the mixtape did come first.
No. The mixtape
not before the clothing, but
not before the clothing, but it blew them up.
Gotcha.
It got them in the mix. It got them in the eyes of the ESPNs of the world because ESPN gave them a real shot. That's where that reality show came into. You know what I'm saying? And once they made the reality show, then that's when they started getting into the conversations with the NBA guys. I mean, ESPN is the biggest sports media, thing in the world, like period.
Yeah, so once you get in there,
it's literally 8 channels of ESPN. Like you go down on anything on your cable, you're gonna see ESPN 1, 2, ESPN U, you know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of ESPN Latino, they got it in everything.
Yeah, so once they got into there, it was
once they got in there, and then this is kind of before social media, kind of like this is before then. So we got all our real media from cable and the ESPNs and stuff. So when you have 1,000,000% of the eyes, when you got 100% of the eyes that love sports, that love basketball, these type of things, and they go to ESPN for these things, and you got a reality show based upon a mixtape that everybody loves, and you take these same stars and you put them on that joint, you're gonna blow up.
Yeah,
and then one of them, And then one of them, the person, the flagship person that you started it off with, skipped to my loop, made it to the fucking NBA. So of course he's gonna be wearing And1 shoes.
Right.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
okay.
Let's go past that into the sale of the company, the liquidation of the company. And I wouldn't even call it liquidation because they didn't liquidate the players. You know what I mean? Like basically,
they couldn't. They
yeah, because the players weren't employees. You know what I mean?
Did you hear? All right, see that you said that.
I heard when he said that. That's the reason I said it.
Yeah,
that's the reason I said it.
Yeah, once he said that, I like okay, all right. You know what I mean? I kind of get where they're going with this.
No, I don't. You know why I don't? I don't cut these people no slack, man. So look,
I see you don't.
When it comes to so this is the thing, because I've been a part of a company that liquidated, and they told us last minute everybody got laid off. And not to say that every company, I'm not saying everything I'm not saying every time that happens it's a bad situation or it's a bad deal, you did something wrong. I'm not saying that. In that particular situation, so at the end, I just want to be clear and specify what we're talking about. At the end, one of the owners said, it wasn't until afterwards, years later, where I realized, if we had just made them employees instead of contractors, meaning the And1 Mixtape guys, if we had made them employees instead of contractors, we would have been able to pull them in. Right. They would have got equity, they would have got stock options and been able to get paid out. The reason why I'm saying that isn't it's BS is because look, this and the guy that said it, he's the guy that went to Wharton, right?
Yes.
These people, whenever it comes to them getting bread, they're the most business savvy people ever. They know all the ins and outs. They have the accountant over here that's making sure that they find all the loopholes, and they know how to negotiate these deals, and make sure everybody gets paid out and gets a shitload of cash. But as soon as it comes to paying out the Negroes or the talent in most cases, then all of a sudden they become, I didn't even think about that. Oh my God. If I had made them employees years after the fact, mind you, this was also the same guy because it was three of them. This same guy at the end of the doc, who was it? I forgot which one it was, but one of the guys was like, I came to him and asked him.
Shane the dribbling machine.
Yeah.
Shane.
So he was like, I came to him and I asked him for six. Say it again. Yeah, right.
16,000.
Right. So I came to him and I asked him for 16 bands for my son because my son was either going to college and he had a good opportunity or something like that.
It was a tuition thing, yeah.
Right. And he said no. Yeah. Then when they asked him, the same guy, they said, do you remember that happening? And he said, I don't remember that, right? But then he says, but if it did happen, then it is likely that he asked me that question directly without going through a third party. And if that did happen, then, and I did say no to him, I do regret and I'm in pain because I said that. So basically what he's saying is, no, I don't remember it happening. But let's say if it did happen hypothetically. Yeah. So, that's why I don't really cut these people slack because anyway, I'm not going to.
But my question is, this is my question to that. And I'm not trying to, you know how I am.
Yeah.
So I gotta see both
sides.
You're
Mr. Nice Guy. You're Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, right. I want to see both sides.
This out. Yeah.
I want to ask, how did Shane spend his money that he earned while he was employed by, you know what I mean? Like, to the point where once it all got fucked up, because it eventually did. Because, Nike was coming for their head, okay? They was not fucking around with these And1 niggas. It was like, okay, you want to play this game? We want a piece of that pie now, too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And once Nike came for that, that's what got the fuck out of here. Okay. Once y'all had to start, once the money, was gone, before that happened, when y'all were getting paid and they were in the Ritz-Carlton and shit, what were you spending your bread on that you couldn't afford 16 bands to put your kid in a dope
That is true. That is true. And so like
because like where does personal agency, you know what I'm saying, come into play here versus these like we can't say the word, but it's a 4-letter word that we definitely want to get in.
Right. Right.
Starts with a J. You know what I mean? Ooze.
Oh, you said starts with a J. Hold up, you threw me off with that one.
And it ends with the ooze. But
right, okay. I don't even know. I don't even know what
you don't know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know.
I don't even. No habla inglés. Oui, parlez-vous français? I don't. Anyway.
Hey,
I don't know what this guy's talking about. This guy's crazy.
So with that being said, right? So with that being said, I still want to understand, like, okay, Shane, like, what was you spending your bread on that you couldn't afford for your kid? Like, to the point where you felt like you needed to ask homie for a loan, like, you know what I'm saying?
But I mean, like, I'm not sure. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because I look at they show pictures of what he does now, and they give video that, you know what I mean, what he does now, and it's kind of corny. You came from a situation where you were playing in the garden, you know what I mean, to you're doing birthdays and shit. Like, that's messed up, you know what I mean? Like, that's not cool.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know.
Right. So yes, you are absolutely right. What was he spending his money on? But to me, that's two separate conversations. One conversation is about we paid you money. What did you do with the money? Another conversation is we generated millions upon millions.
Oh yeah, we made you millions.
Right. We generated millions upon millions based on your talent, which was a huge value add. We were selling merch after every one of your games. We did not share any of the information around how much merch we were selling. You were not involved in the payout of any of that merch. You just got a contract. So, and then two, look, yes, that was probably more money lump sum than he had ever seen in his life because, he's poor. So when you're poor, you don't really see that much money. So a little bit of money is going to seem like a lot of money. So, but to say, and now granted, he might have fucked off that bread, but it's not like he had a bunch of bread. I think the biggest contract was $90K. Anybody who has made 6 figures in their life, and if you get a salary job where you're making 6 figures, you still are living check to check, just not at the same level as the person who is on the lower economic strata. But if you got a mortgage, if you got a family, if you got a wife, if you got a kid, if you got anything, if you stop working, if somebody says to you randomly one day, hey man, we're not going to be able to pay you anymore, ever. That 100K that you got that year, it ain't lasting long. Especially if you're a guy who is not good with money and whatever. And and that's my thing. But that was the other part of the conversation I didn't want to get to, but you beat me to it. Is that when are Negroes going to get to the point where you stop letting these people finesse you out your talent and your value add that you have, and
you see what happens when they do that. Though. You see what happens when they do that. They either villainize you or ostracize you, right? Like, this happens every single time. Every single time you're like, okay, you want me to work with you or for you, number one. And then on top of that, you want me to utilize my God-given talent. Okay, I give you that you got the resources.
Right.
But this is still my talent.
Right.
Yeah, you got the access. But this is still my talent.
Yep.
This is what's going to bring the millions in. Like, yeah, you got access to the eyes, but this is what's going to hold their attention. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. That's why you're coming to me. So why don't we split this down the middle? I get you. I get what you're saying.
Right. And not even, and you don't even necessarily have to split it down the middle necessarily, right? Because it doesn't need to be 50-50, right?
No, I ain't saying that either. I'm not saying that either, but I understand where you're coming. I get where you're coming from.
I get you.
I'll just use that as just a way to call it. But it's just the only thing I think about this situation, right? Which is, you're right. It's either way you look at it, it's totally screwed up. You know what I'm saying? But these are brothers that were on their last like chance type of deal. They screwed up chances at the NBA, like main event. He screwed up a shot at the NBA because he wanted.
So how did he screw
He had
that
an
up?
attitude problem. He had an attitude problem that ended up getting kicked off the team. Shane the dribbling machine. He doesn't have the style. He doesn't have the size to make it in the NBA. He never make it there. He's still a talented basketball player. He just didn't have the size. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the other gentlemen, there was other guys that, they all had a story behind it, why they didn't make it to the millions, you know what I'm saying? So they gave them an opportunity to live through all of those dreams and aspirations that they
didn't give them anything. That's the thing. We also have to.
They would have never made it that far.
We also have to. We also have to. That far. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with your rationale. I'm disagreeing with the conclusion. White people use that a lot when it comes to us. They have the access, they got the capital, they got the resources, right? Mm-hmm. You will be busting your ass for them day in and day out in whatever position they put you in, right? These niggas were touring. These niggas were literally, they had 100% of their lives until further notice. So to say that somebody gave you anything, nobody says that to white people. When they show up to do a job, they provide value and they do the job effectively. No one says, oh, we gave that to you. No, they say you earned it because you're a hard worker, you're smart, you're savvy, you're whatever. But when it comes to black people, it's this because, and the only reason that they say it to us is because they know damn well that we suffer from collective low self-esteem. And society is always telling us that we ain't shit. Even when we do something effectively, it is like, well, somebody gave you that opportunity, so you really didn't do nothing. You just showed up, right? And that mindset.
I hear what you're saying.
And that mindset allows them to snow us anytime they want. And then when it comes out that they snowed us, they just point the finger at us and say, well, I mean, look, man, we gave you all that stuff.
That's a very valid point, sir. And you really just changed my whole frame. Like, I will never say that again. I will never say that again. That right there clicked when you said that. I was like, hold up. Damn. We really, everybody say that though. The light bulb behind you got brighter and everything. You had it all. Like, you was on it. Okay.
So look. And then the other side of it, and this is the analogy is going to put a button in the conversation. Like, the best analogy we can think of is a conversation about something that no one thinks is possible, not because it's not possible, because it's been done for everybody else. It's just not possible for us, reparations, because they tell us, well, we gave you this country. You didn't earn it. Somebody made you work and build up the country. Now you want reparations for some stuff that somebody else did. We didn't take anything from you. It's the same scenario. It's the same scenario of you're just a lazy Negro. You're just a lazy Negro who wants something for nothing. You want a handout. So and that's that whole like psychology. It really is a trick bag, bro. Like, they put us in that psychosis, and then they put the rest of society in the same psychosis. So when they see somebody do that to us specifically, everybody says things like, "Well, I mean, what did you do with the money when you had it?" Reparations, they'll be like, "Well, what would you do with the money if we gave it to you, niggas? You just fuck it off on a Benz or something." You don't need to be worried about what I'm doing with the money. I'm
a ball. Even if I don't ball, I'm a ball. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Come on, look. I don't care if you give me the reparations check and I show up to the club like Jim Jones in the balling era. No sparkles, balling. I don't care what I do with the bread. You owe me the bread.
Yeah, yo, you are out your mind. Do you understand? I don't give a damn if I decided with all that money to buy 13 zebras and just have them just trug me down the goddamn street in a goddamn Volvo. I don't give a fuck if I want what is owed to my fucking family, bro. Like I deserve it.
Listen. I don't care if I got the 14 zebras you just mentioned, and then I start walking around calling myself the Princess Zamunda. I don't care. Cut me the damn check.
Matter of fact, that's exactly what I would do because I would legally change my name to the Princess Zamunda. I don't give a fuck what
Listen, because they don't say that.
That's the first thing I would do with reparations.
Look, they don't say that to anybody. What are you going to do with the money? I mean, why should I give it to you? What are you going to do with it? They only say that to us, bro. So look, I don't even realize that conversation was going to end there. But that was a great segment.
Since D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation in 1915, the black male image has been under assault. There is one thing that does not exist, and it needs to exist. Black male media by black men for black men.